Well, Nepal has a background of two civilizations. One civilization of Nepal is very popularly known as Sinja civilization. Some people also call it like Xhosa civilization. Sinja was the capital of Nepal a long time back, and this kingdom actually embraced a very big territory starting from Satluj, even after that, and covered Garhwal, Kumaon, Nepal's Jumla, Doti, and at some point the border was at the Kathmandu. Okay, so occasionally in some mythological books or some religious or ancient texts, the state is also known as Parvat Rajya. Okay, but that Parvat Rajya itself is Nepal because that Parvat Rajya is created by Ne Muni, means this is a country of Ne, says Ne means Nepal. So Nepal and Parvat are no different. In the eastern part of Nepal, especially somewhere from 600 or 700 or 800s BC, Kirat began to rule in Kathmandu and the eastern part of Nepal. So Kirat was not as big as Parvat. Parvat state, Nepal, later on divided into several other states. Kirat is another civilization. Okay. Both civilizations do not bring lot of influences from southern Hindu system of civilization. Sinja civilization also carried very strong influence of Vedic tradition that is known as Vedic Sanatana Dharma. Dharma is not religion here, it's a philosophy. Okay, but they were not Hindus. They were Xhosas. So, Vedic Xhosa and Vedic Hindus, they are different things. Kirat basically demonstrate a different kind of culture, different kind of civilization. Somehow we can see some proximity with Chinese, also some proximity with Burmese civilization and other. But these two civilizations share a lot of common things because they both of them had a very active interactions later on. So we are ruled by two civilizations. West civilization called Sinja civilization of Nepal, it was under its influence, and sometimes it is under Kirat. But later on, when Lichabit demolished Kirat dynasty and Kathmandu valley began to melt the civilization of both parts, and therefore today's Kathmandu, Nevar community particularly, that also comes from Nepal, okay, in my opinion. They melted the civilizations of two things. So Kathmandu Valley's Nevar civilizations today, Nevar culture, is a melt of Sinja and Kirat both civilization. So this is in integration. It's an unique example. Therefore, one of the reasons, like, I am really attracted to Nevari language, Nevari culture, because I like it. Therefore, I represented the case in Supreme Court around 15 years before, defending Nevar language, that is means Nepal Bhasha, should be an official language of Kathmandu Valley, Kathmandu municipality, because it's a very, very rich language. It combines Maithili vocabulary and Tibetan grammar, and might be it also combines some Xhosa grammatical linguistic science, because Xhosa grammatical linguistic science also came from Central Asia to Tibet and entered in Nepal. So that's one very interesting thing. So very, very important thing is, like, Nepal represents two civilization. They are melted now. So to break this very important significance of Nepal, certain people were very zealous, envious, and for so many other reasons. So they started talking about Nepal's community are different. Like some people were even encouraged to say that Brahmin and Kshatris of Nepal had come from India when Islam attacked over there, or this kind of things. It's truly concocted history they created to defame Nepal, to defame Nepal's nationalism. So some people are still writing, but they are ignorant, pseudo-knowledge people who are really harming Nepal's nationality. Actually, Brahmin Kshatris of Nepal are not those Brahmin Kshatris that you find in India. Okay, they are Khas. What is Khas? Is that Kash. Kash is called Khas. So that means Kashmir, and Khasha is related to a word where, according to some very learned intellectuals throughout the world, they worshipped goat. Okay, so that is how Khasa comes from, and the culture of worshipping goat begins from Turkey to Central Asia to Tibet to many parts of China, and also Kashmir, Garhwal, and it comes to Nepal. So this history is very unique. So what I'm trying to say, therefore, is that Nepal had a very long history, and the western Nepal's kingdom that time was Shinja, which was very rich. But if you know that this government and these political parties are ignoring Shinja today, and demolition of those artifacts, those temples, and many other things. So this is a very serious grave crime of these political parties and the rulers of this government state. So we have to take note of it, and we have to start talking about it. One thing. Second thing, one last very important point is that when Chanakya wanted to change the Dhanananda, Chandragupta Maurya came to invade Dhanananda, and they came to Nepal, Shinja, and they stayed in Nepal's royal palace for some time, and with the help of Nepal's king, a big military had gone to Pataliputra to invade Dhanananda, and eventually they demolished Nanda dynasty and placed Chandragupta Maurya as the emperor of Magad, and that's why Chandragupta Maurya's grandson Ashok came to Kathmandu to pay the tribute. So Nepal, therefore, is a very long history holding country. Therefore, it's not a younger brother to India, a younger brother to China. It's older brother to them, actually, if it is a brother. So we have to understand. So this history is rich, but our historian didn't write this history. They didn't explain. What they did was like they just wrote history of some kings, some temples, and they plotted certain Kshatris and certain Brahmin. They completely ignored other communities, and most importantly, they never wrote history of artifacts like clothing, ironing, all this kind of artifacts. They were ignored by the historians. So country is facing today a serious situation because of that. So we should be proud of this history also.